Hello, B3L. Wanted to get out a quick meme coin trading session. A little bit last minute. I had promised to do one here this week. I asked the wife here today, as I am on vacation, when was a good time for me to do a session like this? She's like, "Oh, right now." So I will get this session here together. We do have it recorded. Wanted to go through kind of some basics on trading some Solana shitcoins here today, and just work through on things I've been looking at. I've been playing around in it to some success and to some failure as well. So sharing what I can provide there for some of my experience. I think it's a really kind of fun kind of casino type environment, and depending on your bankroll and depending on what percentage of your portfolio you're willing to risk, this can be to an extent could be very successful as well on how you play it. So do enter with money you're willing to full on lose, because ultimately these things run super fast, super volatile. So be aware and go from there. FG, you came off mute. Do you have something to say? Or was that accidental? No? Okay. So yeah, what I would suggest is take, maybe a small amount of Solana. I've been playing in Solana. There was base as well. I'm sure there's some on Blast. Um, but I have been playing in the base, sort of the Solana ecosystem. Just plenty going on there. Gas fees are nice and low. I will say that one challenge I've had with Solana is transactions not going through. So that can be super painful in the sense that you have to move fast on some of these, and so the Solana experience hasn't been 100% amazing. But moving to base and moving ETH on and off base, etc., it has its own kind of pain points. So I've played in Solana, but you can choose multiple chains. It's not a problem. I mean, you can also play in ETH, although I would suggest those are a larger bag when doing so. But take one Solana or a small amount, nominal amount, and get in here and play around. I use Dex Screener. So Dex Screener is a think of it as in the NFT space, your magically or your blur of shitcoins. It does have all the chains in there, so you can definitely see all of the activity. So it's a really cool platform from there. I see some other people are coming, so I'm just going to pause here a bit and wait until they get into the room and go from there. If you do have questions, comments, whatever, you can always put it into Club VC chat. I'll look for it and comment, or you can get on voice. Either way. I was in here earlier looking at things, and I mean I saw the what I'd say is a really nice trade show up on one that I had seen there, um, and I wasn't quite set up to make that trade. But I do have a fresh Solana wallet, so I think that's going to be fun. Uh, Hopefully, it all goes well, and we can kind of trade with that here, and maybe make this an ongoing thing if there's interest as well. So, welcome, welcome. Just waiting here for anyone else to join before I kind of carry on. One thing I think is kind of interesting here is that there's going to be cycles uh, with these coins, and there's going to be periods where it's kind of like a frenzy, and you'll see it on the timeline. And during those times, I think there's going to be a lot more opportunity for some wins, right? But these are constantly moving. They are, like I said, super volatile. You want to be entering in with a percentage of your portfolio that you're willing to full on risk. This is in a lot of ways, this is just straight up gambling. because of the volatility. You know, there will be coins that go to zero, whether they're rugged or whether they go to zero before you can get out. That will occur. I do have a graveyard of one right now of a coin that I was in that I couldn't get out in time, and it literally went to zero. I held it, thought, we'll see if it does rebound, and checked here today, and it's absolutely dead. So that does happen. So be aware of that. But wins 10x's, 100x's, 1000x's, they can happen. They're going to take a longer time horizon. I suggest you're in and out quick if you're making these moves, unless you have something that you want to ride. But consider these kind of like the NFT craze of 2022, when any general PFP project NFT would just pop up, and you'd look for kind of markers, things that looked like they were something that could be interesting or catch on. And it's the same kind of idea when you look at these. So, for instance, some Bugman fraud. That was one that I was in yesterday, and that one did a pretty fast uh, 10x. So you can see my my line that I drew here earlier on in the transaction. So I was looking at it right here and made my kind of move and trade uh, down in this kind of support and cycle. So it saw this resistance, broke out, broke down, and I think I got out right in this range of resistance here for a small nominal profit. It broke out and it ran to an extent that was probably 0.009. A good clean five to 7x if I were to have sat in there longer. Um, this one had a little bit more going on with it, just given the name. I honestly thought that this would have been something that was out earlier, and maybe there was another version of it, and that's the other challenge. But the SBF ticker, etc., there's a lot going for that I thought was quite interesting. So, those are the kind of things that you really look for in that sense. So, like I said, dextrainer.com, excellent spot to start. So go check it out. If you go directly to it, you're going to get a page like this. And then you can go ahead and look at it. This looks like, oh, this isn't filtered. So I've got a couple bookmarks that work well for me. One that's sorted to volume and one that's sorted to new. New is super risky. Looking at just the newest ones, these coins can go up and down within a matter of 5-10 minutes, and that'd be it. So I think that it's a little bit better to look at it in terms of volume. So I got it sorted for volume over the last hour to look at coins and go from there. You can see the age. So newer ones can be a lot more lucrative, but very risky. And then you can look at ones that are around a little longer and look for a kind of a swing move on something like that. So, like I said, when I was looking at this a little earlier today, I don't even know if it's still. Yeah, there we go. I was looking at Arnie. Thought that one was kind of funny. So it was right in this range here, looking at that higher low and that breakout. It did break out. There was a nice 7-minute run where you were pulling out probably about just about a 2x in that amount of time, and now it's proceeded to pull right back to prior lows. Doesn't look very positive at all, and I don't think that would be something that I would enter for some time here. But those are the kind of moves that you look for, and we're going to try and see if we can find something like that. I've got one soul loaded up into a wallet. I won't go through there. So once you get in, oh, IO, what's up? Oh, in and bounce. Probably didn't mean to come in off mute. That's all right. So we'll look through, see what looks kind of interesting here. So these are sorted by volume. You can see percentage gains on the right-hand side and where they're at. Jerry kind of looks interesting. Jerry is a newer one. So Jerry, this is off of the cartoon. And, possibly if we get a breakout over this, it's interesting, but I think I would skip that. Welcome, IO. Cat with Hat is kind of newer here today. Good long-term trend on this one. So that one's kind of interesting. You can see that volatility there, that sell. Now, that's just one larger sale. Can really pull it down in a moment of time. Could be an interesting point of entry right there off of that down move. Fighting a bit of resistance near all-time high. Looking like a bit of a possible cup and handle was at it there, but it's not going to happen. That isn't. And I mean, you're trading 1 minute candles on this, and you're looking for general trends that look positive. This one right here looks like it's going to retrace, likely down to this 0.05 mark here. So it is not at an entry point at the moment. It's a pretty new coin. It's been around here now for about 4 hours. Cat with hat. There's enough to play on that. There's the dogs are what really runs in the meme coin, shitcoin land. There's been a lot of energy to try and get one for a cat, but it just hasn't happened. So with that, kind of see a bit of a longer term trend forming off of this. Right about there. So if you look for a retracement back to here on this support and get a bounce, I think that's not a bad entry point. Though it looks like it's trying to push up right now. So let's just wait on this one a bit. Pause. Any questions? Any thought comments here? Any experiences anyone wants to share? Now, of course, there's the much larger ones. Um, Pepe, Dog with Hat. There's a few I think that are going to be uh, have a shot at being winners through the cycle. Those are the two that I think are currently leading the way. Look at something like Mog. There's a few others out there. Um, you know, that cycle, that turn for alts, etc. They're very near. Could be another month or two post halving. Bitcoin dominance is kind of still leading the way, but that alt cycle, as things kind of really ramp up for Bitcoin and you get a little bit more mainstream reentry. Doge will always be one as well. Could very well happen, and so safer high risk plays this year is totally degen, full on. Like I said, kind of like gambling. So you're putting in money that you're willing to straight up lose. But it's fun, and it could be opportunity for some real wins. So kind of consider it that way, right? So not getting that retracement here. It's kind of in a bit of a no-go zone at the moment. I think if it breaks above all-time high, it's interesting. If it can go down and retrace, it's interesting. Let's see. We'll maybe just open up another window here. Take a look at another one. Let's see if something else looks really good. Shark Cat is testing its highs. It's been around looks like for actually I should have checked beforehand, but over a day here. If this moves up here, like this flag entry here, I think this one's actually quite interesting. They can shift really quick though to the downside. So you're looking for a breakout above this 0.06 or 6 cents, and then it's I'll look at a move here. Shark Cat is a type of one that, if you're in it way back on the 27th, so yesterday, tons of room for opportunity, right? So that's the kind of wins that can certainly happen, but you have to get in early and you have to hold on those. So depends on the way you're playing there. And so, for instance, if you were looking at making a move on one of these coins, which we're still waiting for the right entry here, uh, what I would suggest is copy that address. I've been using Radium for making these moves and swaps. Let's make sure I'm connected to the right wallet here. Maybe I just go. You can see the graveyard coin that I have here. That's worth now 5 cents. Um, this is not. There we go. Connect. It'll be defaulted to Solana. You pick the amount that you want to enter. So, for instance, something like 0.05, 0.1. I was getting really confident when I was first playing around on these, and I was up to like 3 SOL on a particular one. That's where I learned my lessons that these move so fast. But I was having a lot of success through most of the early trades, and got a little too confident and probably was trading with more than I should have, especially when I was the majority of my bankroll, right? So you go in here, you click this, you paste in that you got, it's going to come up, and away you go. If it doesn't come up, you can actually go ahead and add it, and then have that ability to trade it. So that was, I'm not sure if I copied cat with hat or which one I copied there. So this one looks still in this kind of pattern here. Right? So you're watching for this. This breaks to the upside, then you're running new all-time highs, and this could get a good swing. At 6 cents, this is a little bit more established, a little bit harder, I think, for it to really move with size. So watching it there, a bit of a kind of a like I said, a little less volatile than what we're looking at with cat with hat. Cat with hat is kind of stuck here. Let's see here, refresh. Yeah, so it's ranging a bit in this zone here. I want to see this go back and retest support and then bounce. I think that's would be a perfect entry. Let's go back and look and see if there's something else. Want to get a trade going on here, so we can experience that. Iced is looking dead. So Dooge, kind of interesting. Loopy's got a nice kind of initial retracement. This start here was kind of slow off the coin itself. Sorry, just checking chat. Okay. Again, put anything in Club VC if you have something going on there. Yeah. So get the initial retracement off this run. Kind of like what this is looking like here on Loopy. Key point here is whether or not it's going to break highs. Looks like it could pull back before it moves up. So it's again, it's in a kind of a no entry point. Off this bounce was kind of interesting, especially as it breaks here. It's not bad, but I'm gonna wait this out a little bit on Loopy. So I just switched the filters to look at some of the larger uh, coins overall, being able to look at it at a longer time horizon. So we have a few other ones. Mew was one that I was in earlier on. I was in and out pretty quick on it. This one actually took off and ran pretty well. Nub, another one that's performed quite well in this 6-7 cents range, testing the previous all-time high. This would be like actually kind of a nice little bounce and move on Nub. I think we have another one called BlackRock. Of course, BlackRock has the activity that's going around on ETH in their BlackRock fund. So that's pretty interesting. I don't see it here on the volume charts. It might not be on Solana. It might be off of base or Ethereum. Okay, so we did get this bounce and retest. So we're gonna hop into this one now. I think this is a fun one to get into. Let's see if I can get in there quick enough. Copy. Over we go. And this is where we can see whether or not we have the pain points or the success. So go in with a 0.05 Solana. Going small on the bankrolls, playing it a bit safer. I wouldn't go much higher than 10% because of just the amount of risk. It might take several trades for you to get a good successful one. So this swap error, this will happen. One thing you want to look when it loads up is transaction reverted. If it does, you want to hit cancel, hit swap again. This is kind of the pain points I was experiencing the last couple days. A little bit frustrating on there. I'm not sure if that's a Solana network thing or what the case is, but it's just retrying transactions. I had one that I was looking to exit after kind of a short entry. And by the time I was able to exit, it had actually 2x'd in that point of time. So that was something that happened to the positive, but it can also go the other way. So once you've made that trade, I go ahead here and flip them. So now you can see what we have. It's going to pop up here on the liquidity pool and show what that amount is worth. You can see here it's slightly down at the moment. that's all right. So we entered right in around this 0.06 mark. I'm going to draw a line here where we entered. Looks like it might go back and retest that support. I run these trades pretty quick, um, just for the sake that these are super volatile. So I'm happy with say if it's a 30% gain, I'll take that, depending on what the chart and the trend looks like, right? So unless this is breaking all-time highs, which I consider really around this 0.007 mark, something to watch for. If this does break down on the support, then we're going to also exit here pretty quick. It might be breaking the support right now. So let's just watch this for a bit. Although this support, as we're zoomed in here, looks like it's actually a little bit lower than that. Right about there. So it's dancing right on that support here. So let's just watch. Again, I only entered with 0.05. So it might close this out. And if it does, you could look for more support here. But let's wait. So we got that quick initial bounce off of that. It was on a pretty sharp down candle, which is the risk point here. But let's see if we get this bounce. This candle gets back up to support. So we'll wait for a close and a bounce. So there's the close. And now we're waiting for some green. You can kind of see the activity of the trades that are coming through right down here. The size of them that are going through as well. Seeing the kind of the general flow of transactions and where they are going. So what you're wanting to see here is a good amount of green. You can see some of the larger entry points here as well. 10, 2, 1. Good to see that off of this support bounce. So that is good to see. Can take some time for that to happen. We'll go look a little bit here. So Nub got the bounce off of previous all time. This one also kind of looks interesting at the moment. So it is in a slight downtrend. So that's the only risk point. It's this sharp kind of downtrend here. It breaks out above that, say it's over here. I think it's kind of an interesting entry as well. So we'll just wait a bit on Nub. Maybe we get a second trade in there. A little bit riskier to be moving 2 trades at once, just given the need to exit something like Cat with Hat pretty quick. I'm talking like these meme coins now. Some of these the wordings on them will throw you off a bit there. So let's wait this out. Meanwhile, ETH NFTs kind of had that brief bounce and run. I will say that if I'm looking at things like apes and mutants, mutants look actually a little bit better than apes. Apes are probably going to go back down, maybe test something like 10 ETH. So just watch on that. Azuki is the one kind of bright spot there off of the meme token kind of further announcement. And so we'll watch on that. So getting back to our entry point here, which is good. It's moving a little bit slow. Some of these runs can be just super sharp on the 1 minutes. That was looking not bad. I think this like 7 cents range could be an interesting spot there. Nice little pop there. I'm just gonna wait that out a bit. These pops can kind of follow with a quick retracement. It looks like it popped right at the end of the candle, which is good. A bunch of sales came in right after that, trying to catch that little jump. so going to enter a second one at the same time here. Nub is a little bit safer, a little bit more established. Going to go in there with a bit more size. 0.1. Every time it's going to give you this kind of risk disclaimer here. Swap. Looks like it's good. Hit enter. These transactions go through a lot better when you're buying versus when you're selling. Depends on the the liquidity pool and everything that's going on. More established one, that transaction is going to go through a little easier. So that's done. I'll go back to our other token here. Just have that one on the ready because that's the one that we're going to really want to move a little quicker on the sale. Wait for this to pop up. Try and hit refresh. Connecting back to the pool. We're now above our entry point. I'm looking for this to kind of get that nice bounce. And then we're going to watch for it in this 0.069 range and see how that plays. If it goes up above, I think we're in a good spot. It might hold off of either one of these points here, so which is what we don't want to see. So we see here. Actually, that's not. Do another refresh here. It's holding off of our entry point and going back to retest, which then shows a bit more of a bearish downturn trend on this short run here. So want to see that move up. Looks like it's kind of going nowhere at the moment. There we go. I think it was set to half when I clicked it. Or actually it might have been set to the nub amount. Sometimes you have to refresh it, max half. I always go back to max. So we can see here right now we're at break even. Any questions, any comments, anyone that joined late that has anything that they want to ask, they can put it in Club VC chat. So lots of green coming in here on Cat With. Nub has moved pretty well. You can see this area of down support resistance here. It has looks like it's breaking that at the moment. Kind of hard to draw that. I should zoom in a bit. So this is a good little breakout. We're going to hold on that for a bit. And Cat with Hat is not giving us kind of the move that we want. Like I said, it's kind of in this slight short-term downtrend here. And that's really what, if you're looking at these charts, etc., really looking at the short-term trend activity is going to be your best friend. You don't have to get super crazy into the technical side of it. Like I said, I do like to make these moves pretty fast. So this is going back to this kind of long-term trend support. Hopefully we get another bounce and move above. If it doesn't, it gets stuck here again. We'll probably want to just exit this and cut it where we're at. Might be a small loss, etc. That's fair. Another dip below. Looking for this to get back here quick. This is a new candle, so we might get it back here quick. It's not terrible to go below for, 1 or 2 candles. But this is looking like it's struggling at the moment. Bit of a heavier volume sell as well. Nice little bounce here on what we're seeing from nub. Bit of a W pattern off of this. Not quite. I mean, you want that double bottom. Let's see how this moves up. It, you want to see it break this previous high. It's not quite doing that, and if it moves down, then it goes back to this trend support line. Cat with hat is not looking good. Gonna wait out maybe one more candle here, but I think this is an exit at this point. You can see if we're exiting here, it's probably what, a 20, 25% loss, just like that. Back to the trend support. It's always crazy looking at the 1 minute. One thing you probably worthwhile doing as well is, and I should have been doing this earlier, but take a look at the long-term trends here as well. So we broke down off of here, same idea on the long term. You're not going to get much more than that. Here's the 15-minute. This is a new coin, so it's not going to have a lot of long term. Going to nub on the 5 minute. Break above. We want this candle here to hold above on that trend support with further continuation. This actually looks like it just taps out at the same spot as before, which is actually a bit better than the one where it's closing below. And on the 15-minute, we're right on this kind of down trend support, although this line would actually move in a little tighter on that. And then you have this long-term uptrend, which I think is pretty positive. Actually, the 15-minute looks pretty strong. We're getting back up here on cat width, so that's good to see. Held out a little bit on this one. It needs to move. It's still got this kind of sharp downtrend here. Right, so there's that. If it rejects off of here, I think it's just we'll close it out and get out with a small loss. But at this amount here, when you're looking at this, like this doesn't look like there's a lot of uh, overall movement. These are pretty heavy amounts, right? So 0.005 to 0.007, that's a decent, that's my math isn't quick enough to get it there, but that's like what, 25% in this tight range. You can see the 5 minute we're up 8%, the 1 hour we're down 17%. Like these are pretty large swings that happen. So we rejected off of that. It's so tempting to want to hold a bit. Now, this candle isn't closed yet, so see where the next candle goes. But these are like, pretty wild kind of swings, even though like you look at it and it's like, okay, that's, look at the history of the chart. It doesn't seem like much when you're zoomed out, but when you're up and in it, these are pretty volatile moves. So, we never got anything that really bounced up above from our initial entry. But all it would have taken was just a small little green candle for you to capture a nice 20% gain, uh, and then close it out and be happy with it, right? Want to break this trend here, get up above it, and then maybe we're back into the good on this. Nub going out of this again. This is a nice bounce here off of this short-term trend. We get this bounce and we go above this previous high, then I think we're then looking to get up above this 0.077 area. This could be all right. There's a nice green candle. Back up to where we entered. Didn't close. That was a pretty big move. Um, you can see a bunch of cells came in there off of that green candle. Those large green candles can be just one pretty large move. That was a 71 soul entry, which is a large entry onto a fresh wallet as well. So these little gold stars, those are brand new ones. And then other ones you can see they're kind of the amount position that they're adding in there. So you can see this person added 230K of their 14 million. So they were in pretty early and in pretty heavy. And you'll have whale wallets like that trying to push the trends, etc. With what's going on the chart. I will say if anything in playing in these are really good for just learning your basic trading style and your basic kind of trading analysis. So playing around in this in like small amounts, 0.05 isn't too crazy, and a good way to practice trading. Maybe not something on as new as Cat with, but something like Nub I think is a pretty good one. So we broke the previous high. This is really good to see. You can see here we had a higher low as well off of this kind of small amount here. So getting some positive trend. We still haven't broken the previous um, high. So looking at that, but if we can kind of down back up, we could still work towards getting above that previous all-time high. So still pretty good. Like I said, the 15-minute chart looked really strong. So Nub is looking actually pretty good overall. Nice green candle here as well on Cat Whiff. So we're back good. It looked kind of rough there for a moment, with actually both of them kind of dipping down. So these are both kind of longer. Well, especially with Cat With, this is a longer hold than I would typically like. Although some of those were new coins that I was capturing right away, and it's in and out super quick. I'm not afraid to take just a small little gain within 10 minutes and run away with that. You can kind of stack those up for a bit. If you get into something that you think is got a little bit more appeal and interest, then you can let it ride a little bit, especially if you're up on that. But you have to be watching these pretty close, pretty tight, because these things can move pretty wild. Holding it through the night is super risky. Locking changes, you can sleep through the 8 hours. So do what's with your comfort level in that respect. Adjust this. This looks like it's right there. So now we're kind of challenging both this long-term trend, excluding dip, and this short-term down move, which actually could kind of extend. But then you're looking at the wicks. So breakout here above looks really good, and doesn't take much of a move for us to get a good little positive grab on this one. Nub is looking well. Got above that previous high. So now we're up into the range where we're challenging the all-time high. So working off of that, we might come back and test. I think that's all right. But overall, looking pretty good on Nub. Questions, comments? Everyone just hanging in and absorbing. Hopefully, I'm keeping you entertained at least. Hopefully, you're learning a thing or two on this. Um, if anyone has anything that they do different, I would love to hear it. I'm sure there's other sources other than Radium to do these exchanges. Radium's worked well for me. Outside of that, you can go through and do it directly through the site. I have found that doesn't work quite as well. It doesn't always pick up the coin. In fact, if you do it, actually sometimes it just does it right on the window itself. So that's actually a little bit different. So it'll pop up.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, maybe I clicked a different button.
I see that you're using Radium. That's definitely a good tool. Specifically with Sol, have you looked at Photon? Have you used that?
I have not. I've gone with Radium. Photon, is that the same kind of idea?
Yeah, it's a similar vibe. It seems to be a little quicker.
Okay.
It's got an opportunity to up your priority
Yep.
so that you can squeeze through these transactions,
Sure.
especially the cells.
Yep.
Um, and I didn't know if you wanted to touch on like Mev and sandwich sort of bots that we're going up against here and ways to avoid those or supersede those transactions.
I have not. Definitely the bot side of things is something that I'm aware of, but I have to do more research on as well, right? So, but yeah, you are. What's Photon's?
It's like Photon Tiny Astro. Let me see what it's Photon slash or dash soul dot tinyastro.io.
There we go.
So one thing that you could do there um, is you can, like I said, there's a in the advanced settings, you can adjust your slippage. Obviously, you can boost your priority fee, and then there's what they call a bribery amount, which is essentially their version of a MEV protection, and you're just paying an extra little bit of soul to get your transactions through.
Yeah.
Now, when you're dealing with like 0.01 soul, like that's as much as your bribery amount's going to probably be. But when you're
Mm-hmm.
pushing through, a chunk of 0.1 or more, it's absolutely beneficial. It's just that priority fee that you can adjust as well to where you are getting less failed transactions. That's a little less frustrating, even if you're paying a slight premium to do so. But you know you get in and out of a position that you need or want to get in and out of.
Awesome. Appreciate it. I'll have to check out Photon and get that loaded up.
Yeah, with them, I mean, you're actually setting up its own wallet,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
it's not like you're just swapping with a connected wallet. You're
Yep.
actually setting up a wallet through
Yep.
there. And then similarly with BonkBot, where you
Mm-hmm.
like in Telegram app where you can buy and sell, you know, click on a button, and it's definitely nicer on the go.
Cat whiff is giving us some trouble here, breaking out, giving us any kind of gain above where we want to get out. nub, same idea, a bit of a pullback retracement on this one as well. Mu is on a nice little kind of move here right now. Yes, this is recorded turn. No worries. We'll post this up after we close it down. Go a little longer here. I want to close out these, at least one of these trades here, if we can, and likely show the pain that I have getting out of some of these moves. So I'm excited to check out Photon. I think Mu is really kind of interesting.
Yeah, Photon's definitely cool. There's, I mean, it's specific to Sol and now ETH slash base.
Yeah.
Um, and it's got its own, trending list and fresh pairs. The coolest thing is watching these fresh pairs pop up and then
Yeah.
seeing what has momentum and why. And then probably the best tool on Photon that I've seen is that it identifies these three key areas of whether or not a coin is, safe-ish to jump into, the mint
Yeah.
authority being disabled, the LP burnt or not, and
Yeah.
then the top 10 holders.
Yeah.
Those are key metrics to know that you're not getting in a honeypot or know that there is room to get dunked on just based on the fact that the contract's not revoked yet. So
It's a hard gauge to see where this one's going next. Yang. So Terran's talking about this one. Pretty wild looking chart, to be honest. Some pretty heavy swings is too. Yeah, the chart is super wacky. Um, doesn't really move, and then you get these big kind of swing moves. Could be just what volume itself is a little bit. Liquidity pools also pretty small, so smaller liquidity pool can mean for some bigger swings, and then you get these like just like super small moves. I mean, the recent uptrend is decent, although short-term downtrend. Um, I don't know. I think I would not. I think I'd be out, to be honest. Um, Especially if you're up. I guess the chart is a little bit chaotic for my likings. It could be. You'd have to like fully dig in there. Yeah. So we're now holding this down support line, which then means that we're trending downward off this all-time high move. 15 minutes still looks pretty good. It looked better off of this kind of retracement, although, you could look back to in this zero point 0.06 range, even as low as there before you get a bounce. The one thing I will say that is once you get into some of these uh, trades, especially a newer um, coin, is that you're kind of glued to it. You're kind of glued to it until you're able to tax it. You're stuck kind of watching it, so be prepared for that. This is not always the um, most leisurely activity, right? So if you get in, you're looking to exit pretty quick. I don't know if we're gonna get a move. We're in this kind of like horizontal channel right now, um, between 0.062 and 0.52, which again is still like a 20% swing. In fact, you could add to it right here. So add another 0.05, kind of in this channel. Soon, Millie. find them. Go get dressed. Gonna run this for about another 15. I do have a promised bike riding session with my daughter. She learned how to ride her bike over the last few days without training wheels. Picked it up super fast, really impressive. So she is eager to go out and ride her bike some more. So we're gonna get on that here in a little bit. If I don't close out these trades, I will share kind of the result of where they got to post um, closing them out. And and this one ran. We didn't get it through. Kind of frustrating. Hoping Photon will help us with that. Obviously, again, small amounts, so it's a little harder to do that. This one's coming back to where our entry is. We might just close out this one, although these swings are really not bad, especially if it keeps this kind of trend for a bit. 20% up, 20% down. You can kind of play these a bit there. Tried to catch this run right here. It didn't get in. Getting good ads right now. Would like to see this break above this short-term trend. I'll be sad if that's the case, considering I wanted to kind of DCA and double it down, but you know, no luck on that. Not sure exactly where we entered on nub. Not sure if it was at 7, I think. Down on the swing. See, it's working off of this kind of previous support here. It's actually a pretty solid support and resistance. So green is our entry point on this. So it looks like we're going back down to test that support. And then one more possible bounce. This short-term trend knows what's kind of providing that resistance all the way through. 5 minute. Okay, any other thoughts, comments? We will do this again. Probably Monday. We'll look at doing this during our session, along with a brief market overview as well to catch up on what's going on in the week. But if this is liked and we want to do more, then we'll continue pushing forward with trading and learning some additional methods, etc., and go through that. It is definitely something that is a lot of fun when things are going well, and like I said, super risky. But I think it's a good time to practice because as things kind of kick off through the halvening, um, memes are going to continue to have pretty aggressive cycles. We're going to watch to see what happens as well with this Machi pre-sale. Um, these pre-sales, other than Slurf, haven't been super successful. Machi is a polarizing figure in the space, sometimes with very good intentions, sometimes with very not the best intentions. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure that Machi is going to be the solution to come up with the next major dog coin, but we'll see. I I strongly advocate to avoiding these pre-sales for the most part. I don't see how they're super positive towards the space in general, but we'll watch to see how that plays out. So, like I said, we're gonna wrap it up. I will post up the video here shortly and get that out. So anyone that wants to watch it back or that missed it, that'll be available. Like I said, once these trades are closed out, I will kind of share the snippets through the Phantom Wallet on what we kind of were able to achieve and go from there. This is kind of a back to this test and reentry, so I might actually try and load up a bit more here on this one just before we close out as well. This will be the time it doesn't hold that long-term support. Thanks everyone for joining along here. Hopefully this was fun and informative, and we'll get back to it again.
Yeah, bro. So I appreciate the time as always. Thanks for doing this. I'm definitely interested in more of this, especially now.
Yeah,
And enjoy the bike ride, brother.
thank you. I appreciate the added info as well. I'll be in there researching as well. And yeah, thanks. I'm looking forward to seeing her learn to ride. She's 6, so she's doing super well on it. Yeah, she picked up so quick. It was quite impressive. So, gonna be fun. Take care, everyone. Thanks again.